What's going on, y'all? I want to show you a new plugin called Comeback Kid from Baby Audio, and this is a delay plugin. And it has some interesting and unique features that I haven't seen in other delay plugins, and it's quickly became one of my favorite delay plugins for vocals, and I'll show you why here shortly. I've got a vocal and saxophone here, and I've got the Comeback Kid on the vocal. Before we get into that, let's quickly go over the controls. Starting in the upper left, you have the ability to change the look of the plugin. I prefer the dark mode. The plugin is broken out into 4 different sections. You got the shaper, stereo, flavor, and output. And in the middle, you have your time and feedback controls. The switches, you've got a mono switch, ping pong, density, and cheap. You can think of these as light switches. When they're down, they're off, and when they're up, they're on. So let's start with the shaper section. You've got low cut and high cut filters, and it's also a transient designer that allows you to manipulate the attack and the sustain of the delay. It's really unique. I haven't seen that on another delay plugin. Moving over to the flavor. So this cheap, it gives it it degrades the delay, and tape. This is like a tape saturation here. Swirl is it's like a phase effect, and the sauce is like a reverb. Moving over to the stereo, so wider. The wider is going. The more you turn this up, is going to increase the stereo width of the delay, and the richer is going to add pitch variations in the left and right. Pan, you can pan the delay to the left or right. And mono, you can switch that on. Now you have a mono delay versus stereo. Moving over to the output section. So density, what Baby Audio describes as a subtle randomization algorithm. The ducker, so this is my favorite feature on here. So the ducker ducks the delay under the dry signal and then lets it, kind of ring out after the dry signal stops. For vocals, I always have to automate this where I want the delay to come in at. With this ducker, I can now just let the delay go, and as the dry signal plays, it's going to kind of push the delays under that. And when the dry signal stops, then it's going to let the delay come out. And then you have your dry and wet, which just allows you to turn up or down the dry or the wet signal. And you have input and output meters on the far left and right. Okay, so let's see what the Comeback Kid sounds like. I've got on this vocal, so we got the ducker off. I'm going to mute the saxophone for now just so we can hear the vocal. I'm going to let it play. And I'll go through just some of these options here, features here, so you can hear how they sound. And we'll start with the shaper section.
Daylight, I wake up feeling like you won't play right. I usually know, but now it just don't feel right. It made me put away my pride. So long, you made a show to wait for so long. You make it hard for a girl like that to go on. I wish that I could make you mine. Yeah. You said no, but now it's
All right, let's go over to the stereo section.
da 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 da. Daylight, I wake up feeling like you won't play right. I usually know, but now it just don't feel right. It made me put away my pride. So long, you made a show to wait for so long. You make it hard for a girl like that to go on. I wish.
All right, and lastly, let's take a look at the output section.
Da da da
And lastly, let's take a look at the output section. So I'm going to bring the saxophone in now to demonstrate the ducker here. So I've got the ducker at 0, so it's not doing any ducking. And just listen to how the delay just kind of clutters up the vocal.
I wake up feeling like you won't pay right. I usually know, but now it just don't feel right.
And now we'll turn the ducker up, and now listen.
I wake up feeling like you won't pay right. I usually know, but now it just don't feel right.
So you can see how it ducks those delays under the dry signal. Really useful feature, and I really love to use this on vocals now. Let's take a look at Comeback Kid on some other instruments. Okay, so here I'm using Comeback Kid on this snare, and just like the vocal, I'll go through some of the features so you can hear how it can affect a snare. And here's the Comeback Kid on a synth lead. And here's the Comeback Kid on an electric guitar loop, and I'm using another Baby Audio plugin here, which is a Super VHS. So you hear that going into the Comeback Kid. So there's a quick look at Comeback Kid from Baby Audio. Really cool delay plugin with just features that I just haven't seen on other delay plugins, especially with the transient designer as well as the ducking feature. I'll have a link where you can purchase this from Plugin Boutique in the description. Any questions, comments, let me know, and I'll catch y'all next time.